Welcome back, Vol fans. It's 11th week of the season. Georgia week is here. I know it's lost a little bit of its luster. Feels like it did after that
A little bit, yeah.
game last week. But man, I tell you what, it would take a lot of put that luster right back on if we could
You ain't kidding.
do something this weekend.
I mean, there's an opportunity here. We got the number one team in the country coming in. It's time for the fans to get loud and for the team to. I mean, you put a W up here. I mean, that's huge, huge. I mean, look what last year's game against Bama. If you're able to beat Georgia, number one Georgia,
Well,
two-time defeating champion, you got a similar type reaction. Environment, meaningful game.
well, you do, and it's like Josh Heupel said after last year's game. This is the type of game that the players come here for.
It is.
It's the type of game that the fans should be showing up for, not selling your tickets. Showing up, be loud, be proud. There's a ton of talent, high school talent, that's going to be in those stands this weekend.
Yeah, a lot of big time players going to be there.
The future of the
24s,
program
25s and 26s
is affected by this. I mean, you look at last year's Alabama game, like you said, we won a victory off the field too because we had so many high-profile recruits in, and
That's a big reason why we got some of these guys. I mean, it really was.
a lot of them that really didn't have us on the radar.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying we got all of them or going to get all of them or whatever, but we moved from the radar to an actual in the mix team. And, we're getting into this game itself, though. We know they're two-time national champions.
Right.
We know they're good on offense. They're good on defense. They're top 10 scoring on both of them.
Right.
Surprise, surprise. But do we have some stats or
A recipe.
keys, a recipe?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob.
I think we do.
That give
We'll put on the orange, tinted glasses here and tell you what we think we need to do to win this ball game. I think the biggest thing is Georgia doesn't dominate defensively in the first quarter. They're pretty, average as far as the other teams in the country as far as scoring and
the 50th, right?
50.
Also,
So
a little bit better than halfway, but
So if we're gonna win this ball game, we're gonna need to score probably early and get the crowd
into
it because Georgia really is not road tested. I mean,
this is it. I say, well, yeah, they've had road games. I'm sorry, Vanderbilt. How many fans, Bob?
2025. I mean, I'm sure they had a hard time hearing the snap count on that one, but
Yeah, they heard a mouse fart. Why you
but
kidding?
and then you had Auburn, which actually gave them a heck of a ball game.
Yeah.
And this game, if we can get in there and score in the first quarter and go up on them, it will be louder there than any place Georgia will ever hear, especially first year starter BECK.
Well, he is. He had a lot of high expectation going into the season, and for the most part, he's met them.
Yeah.
He's gotten better as the year went on. He's, I think, 11th in the nation in quarterback QBR rating right now.
Right.
But is he road ready too?
I mean, we don't know. And I tell you what, that's not a given.
Well, it's not. Now, we know he's got a lot more offensive weapons probably than they had last year. They had Raw Thomas come in. They had Dominic Levitt come in. McConkey's still kicking it down there, having a good year. Bowers, of course, he's back. Will he be 100%? Probably not. I mean, he had like 3 catches last week, 30-something yards. But, and then the running backs have combined Kendall Milton and Deshaun Edwards, over 1,100 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got players everywhere.
Oh, yeah. It's Georgia. I mean, they're always going to have backs.
Yeah,
I mean,
and they're extremely efficient.
Mhm.
And, man, I'm telling you what, we got to do something, though, to get them off key because when they have a manageable, well, I'm not going to say manageable, third down, they're number one in the country, third down conversion.
yeah, number 2 and 4th down. So,
Yeah.
I mean, but that goes to that whole crowd noise thing. If we can get some 5-yard
Back them up
penalties.
5 yards, get a
that makes
sack.
Yeah, some sacks. Pressure on the quarterback is going to be key.
Well, it is. I wonder, Bob. I know us. We got after quarterbacks early in the year, wore them out. Then some teams started going max protect. To the max of even just headlocks. That's about as maximum as you can get in protection.
Rode them to the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But would Georgia max protect, or do you think they feel they have enough dogs they don't have to? They'll just play their game.
Possibly, they could possibly just play straight up.
If it does, that gives us an opportunity to get
If I had
after
their talent, on the team, you might just play your game.
Yeah. See, until you can show that your game don't work.
Right.
So there might be an opportunity there to get them out of some third downs, third and shorts. Get after them with Pierce. Who knows? Barron might actually not get help 4 times this game. It's be hard to believe because
Right.
I believe he's leading the country in uncalled holding calls right now. It's
Probably is. And Georgia, you know, we can, or you would think we would be able to run the ball against them. I mean,
well, we thought we would on everybody this year, and then last week happened.
yeah. You know, they're not dominant against the rush. So we would need to run the ball. But I think the biggest key is Georgia is somewhat susceptible to explosive plays. And that's going to be, whether we win this ball game, we're going to have to hit some easy touchdowns. You're going to have to get
We need a cheap score, too.
we need a cheap score. And we need to, when we have these explosive plays, we need to cash in on them. They need to be in the end zone.
Yeah, I'd rather get that than have me on the 14 and say, go score against this defense.
Yeah, I mean, when you get a 35-yard run and then still don't get no points out of it, those key.
Well, that's going to hopefully happen some. But, if we're going to be successful, like you said earlier, it's going to be starting with running. We're going to run better than we did last week, Missouri.
Right.
And, you said they're not dominant against the run. And that's kind of true, but they are like number 2 in the conference.
Oh, yeah, they're not bad.
It's only in comparison to what they were the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And the last 2 years, they handled us with a light box.
They did.
And it shut us down.
I'm not sure. They've got NFL guys on the defensive line. Let me just go ahead and say it.
There's a talent gap.
But I don't know if they have, a top 10 player on the defensive line like they have the last 2 years.
Yeah, the last 2 years they've had a defensive tackle that, quite honestly, should have already been.
Carter killed us last year.
Mm-hmm.
If Carter didn't play in that ball game, that is a ball game last year. He killed us up the middle and destroyed everything.
Shut everything down.
Shut everything down. I don't think they have a guy like that this year.
No, they've got a ton of really good guys.
Yeah, they got a ton of.
But do they have Samson or Goliath there? And I would say no.
I don't think so. I mean, they got some really good ball players there, but still not a destroyer. I don't believe.
Yeah,
they may show that this week.
Well, they could, but you know what? They've been playing down to their level of competition. It seems like to me for the last couple of years.
Right.
And there's nothing in their mind right now to think that they're not just going to walk in here and walk away with a win. I mean, we look like dog crap last week.
Right.
We
did that on purpose, Tim.
Yeah, is that it?
They did it on purpose
And
to build up their confidence.
Did Ole Miss tank it there in the second half to help us out too?
They did. It was
Thank you,
all
Lane.
Lane.
I appreciate that, Lane.
It's all a master plan.
But hey, I mean, in all seriousness, man, I mean, if you play down to the play down a little bit. Because look, if they play their A game, I'm sorry, we're not winning.
Right.
Nobody's winning. Georgia plays their A game. There's no other team in the
They're
country outside of maybe Alabama, talent-wise, that can stay with them.
Mm-hmm.
But if they play a C game, because they're playing down to us, and we hang around for a little while.
Yeah. I tell you something else. I think if I was Heupel, I'd be definitely checking out to see how Georgia does on the punt returns. Do they really lock in on those things? Because we talked about
How's your loans?
Yeah.
How watch for one.
Yeah.
We haven't seen one yet.
We haven't seen one yet. What? You're a huge underdog. Why not this game? What do you got to lose? If you don't get it, you're probably gonna lose anyway.
Yeah.
Go for it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
you want to steal a possession if you can, and this would be a good way to do it. Now,
Pull out all the stops.
now don't be silly. Don't go. I say steal a possession.
Don't
That don't mean
flicker first game.
yeah,
First play.
or
Three plays in a row.
4th and 11 and decide. Well, we got to keep this drive going. Let's go. I mean, it's a losing proposition.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
4th and 2, 4th and 3. That's makeable. Don't panic,
Right.
but do something.
Yeah.
Like you said, this is it. You're not going to win by playing conservative
You've
against
got
this team right
Yeah. You've got to get some breaks, and sometimes that's turnovers. That's a win in the special team somewhere. Getting some calls.
Well, leave that one out. Listen, Bob, I'll say this right here. If it's a blowout, then Georgia's going to have more penalties than we do.
Yeah. Especially in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, once the game's
Over.
it's obvious that it's not longer a game. But if it's tight,
if we get some home cooking, like most home teams do, that would be nice.
Yeah.
And if they want to try to,
Bob, I may have to cut this short. I've got the winning lottery ticket. I've got to go pick up. It's out beside my rainbow, my leprechaun pot of gold.
there you go. Yeah, I hear you. Okay, Tim. Well, I think that covers most everything we've wanted to cover. What else you got? You got a prediction? I hate to ask.
Well, last week, I told you that
you said Missouri beat us.
yeah, Missouri was probably going to beat us because I just didn't think we'd be able to go in there and to be quite honest about it, I didn't think we was going to get any kind of calls. And home cooking always helps, and I expect a little home cooking. I don't have a big problem with that.
Yeah, I mean it's part of sport.
But I didn't. I can't sit here and tell you that I expected them to look as good as they did,
Right.
and us to look as bad as we did.
Mhm.
But I will go ahead and toss out unfortunately another L out there, and but I'm gonna say be competitive though. I'm gonna say 31-24.
Man, I struggle on this one. Like I said, orange set of tinted glasses. Let's go 21, 17 balls.
Okay, in the comments, give us your scores, your predictions. And if you can, hey, we really appreciate you. Hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, it doesn't cost anything. Subscribe to us. You can come laugh at us on the next time around that we make some silly comment. By the way, I'm not doing the thing I said I was going to do, pretend to be a Georgia fan this week. If anybody heard the last episode. But to that point, guys, I hope we beat the out of those Bulldogs and send that puppy back home to Athens.
Yeah. By the way, I used to work with a Georgia fan that was from Georgia, so I'll give him that.
Oh, I got no problem with them.
Yeah, and of course he texts me and all the time. He's already texted me this week. And he'll text after the game. So if we win, I'm gonna post his phone number on our video. So come on, Vols. Come on, baby.
Go Big Orange.
Go Vols.